Guys, welcome to a new tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to cover the all the SQL commands. So this is basically a MySQL full crash course. So after this course you will be able to execute all the SQL queries in MySQL Workbench. And basically MySQL is a structured query language, and this is a very great skill to learn because a lot of companies do use MySQL as a backend in the database. So basically MySQL is a database, and we know that each and every company has some data to store, so it is stored in the database, right? So in this tutorial we are going to see how that all these things are done. So we will create our own database, we will set up our localhost server, and then we are going to execute the SQL commands which are used to perform some operations on our database, right? So let's get started. So first thing you need to do is open up your browser. So in the browser what you have to do is, first of all, you will have to download XAMPP, which is the XAMPP server for Windows. And then you will have to go on this first link. So it will redirect you to this website, and you can see here there is a XAMPP for Windows. If you are using Linux, you can also download it from here, and similarly it is also available for Mac OS X, right? So you can download it from here and install it on your computer. So basically XAMPP is a backend server, and it is a server which is used to host the MySQL database. So after you will install this XAMPP server, you will launch it, and the application will look like this. Go on the manage servers, and here you can see three options, or you will be able to see some more options also. So you can see that it is a MySQL database, status stopped. So what you just need to do is you will have to start this MySQL service. So now it says that it's running now. So once you have just run it, just go on the configure button, and in this you will be able to see this port number, which is 3304. You will have to remember this port number because we are going to use it later on, right? So we have now set up the server, and now we will just download MySQL Workbench. So MySQL Workbench, and then you will have to go on the second link, download MySQL Workbench, which is this one. And here you can see that it says MySQL version and the select operating system. So you can select your operating system from here, and once you have selected, so let's suppose you are using Windows, then you will have to download the MSI installer for Windows and click on download. And from here it will ask you to log in or sign up, but you can just do it without logging in. So it says no thanks, just start my download. And after downloading it, you will just have to run the MySQL Workbench from your applications. So after this you can just close the XAMPP server, it will run in the background. So now you will have to launch the MySQL Workbench, and it will look like this. This is the startup screen. So you can see here MySQL connections here. What you have to do is go on plus icon, click on it, and it will open up this set up new connection dialog box. So let's create a connection test, and here you can see that this is a port number. So in my case it was 3304, which we have seen in the XAMPP server. Rest are the same, so press OK. So after this it will open up this one. Just click on it and just continue anyway. So now you can see here that it has opened up this whole workbench, which is test connection, and you can see here in this menu, in this toolbox, there is schemas, and there is one more which is administration. So you can check the server status from here. So it says that server is running now. You can see the details here. So now what we are going to do is this is the workspace, this is the query one, where we are going to write all the MySQL queries, which will basically create our database and create some more tables in it. So schemas are basically databases. You can see that there are already two databases, PHP MyAdmin and test. So what we have to do is let's create our own database, and a database is basically it's just a collection of data, and in MySQL we are going to use tables to store that data, right? So let's run our first query, which will show us the databases that are present in our server, right? So we will run this. So you can see that it will display you a bunch of servers that are there in this result set. So now we will create our own database, and for that we are going to run this query, create database. Let's call it by my name Vishal, right? So there is you can see the lightning icon. You will have to click it to run this command. So now when you will run this, you will have to refresh it from here, and you can see here that it has created a database for us. So since this database does not have any tables, it can also have views, stored procedures and functions, but in this tutorial we will be working on tables only. So since now we have created our database, our next task is to just write this command, which is use Vishal. So when you will write this command, it basically means that we are using this database and we want to perform all the operations or all the queries inside this database, right? So we will run this and it will say query completed. So once we have done that, now let's create our first command, which is the create table command. So you can view the codes and all the queries that we are going to write here in our Android application, which is available on Google Play Store. So I'm going to write here our first command, which is create table command. So let's name the table as students and then open with the circular braces. So let's create some columns in our database, in our table. So table consists of rows and columns. Column is basically, it defines the attributes, and rows will contain all the data against that attribute, right? So let's create our first column, which is ID. Then we will have to specify the data type, which will be integer. Then we will specify some constraints. Constraints are basically you can say that they are conditions. So here you can see that I have given a constraint primary key. So primary key is basically a key which states that you can use this column to identify each and every record in your table uniquely, right? So there is one more constant that I'm going to use, which is the auto increment. So when you will specify the auto increment, it will automatically increment the value of ID when you will add a particular row in it, right? So let's just create a comma to create another attribute or another column. Let's name it as stname, and this time since the name will be string, we will specify it by the data type varchar, which is the variable characters, and in the circular braces we will specify 255 as the number of characters. Remember, you cannot exceed 255 in this data type, right? So we have created stname which can hold 255 characters. So let's write one constraint here, which is the not null constraint. So not null constraint is basically, it specifies that the column cannot be having any null values, right? So you, at the time of insertion, you will have to give some value to this student name, or else it will not enter any record in it, right? So let's create one more. This is grade, which is of type character, and here I will specify the number of characters that it can hold. And I'm going to write here another constraint, which is default constraint. And basically default constraint is used to specify that the default value of grade will be A1, right? So if you want to override this value, if you will give if you will provide some other value in the insert command, which will write some or enter some other value in grade, so it will override this value, or else it will just enter A1, right? So let's create another field, which is the roll number field. It is of type integer, constraint is null, sorry, not null, and it is a unique key. And unique key, and the difference between unique key and a primary key is that primary key can be used to identify each and every record, and unique key is also capable of doing the same task. But when you specify the unique key constraint, it means that all the rows inside this column, or you can say all the records of this column roll number, will be unique. So you cannot have two values that are equal, or you cannot have two rows that have equal roll numbers. So we know that every student has a different roll number. No two students can have a same roll number, right? So there is another constraint that you can apply, which is the check constraint, and it is used to check the value at the time of insertion. So let's suppose I write a condition here, roll number should be less than 50, because I want only because there are only 50 students in our class. So it will check whether at the time of insertion the user is inserting a roll number greater than 50, so it will not insert it. So this is our first create table command, and you can see all the constraints here: primary key, auto increment, not null, default, unique key, and the check constraint, right? So let's run this command and see what happens. So let's refresh this one, and so you can see here it has created a table with name students, and you can see it has columns inside it, which is ID, student name, grade, and roll number, right? So we have now created a whole table, So now what I'm just going to do is, let's see all the details of this table. So we will use the describe command, which is used to describe how our table looks like. So let's run this. So you can see here in the result, it is displaying our table. So it says that there are fields. These are the fields. The type is integer, variable character, and you can see here that this is the null constraint, and you can see that the ID in student name was null, and we have left grade as not null, as null, because we have already defined a default key. You can see here. Then keys are the primary keys, unique key, and extra constraint is the auto increment. So now we have created a database, we have created a table. Now we know how to describe a table. So now is the time that we should insert some rows or some data in this table, and for that we are going to use the insert into command. So we will specify the name of the table here, which was students, and here I will specify the column names. Since the ID was already set to auto increment, we are not going to specify ID here because it will automatically increment the value of ID. So student name and grade and roll number, right? So these are the columns, and now we are going to add some values in it. So we will use this value keyword here, and in this we are going to specify the values that are you can say with respect to student name, grade, and roll number. So here is a remark that you will have to make sure that the order is same, right? So let's add a student name. So let me add my name here, and let me add some grade here. Okay, so I will change the name here first, and I will add a grade here. So let's say the grade is A1, and then I will add roll number as 1. So this is a command, insert into command, which inserts data into a table. We will just specify the column names here, and then we will specify the value corresponding to these columns, which is ThinkX Academy, A1 and 1. So let's run this. So you can see that it says query completed without any error. So now we are going to just take a look at whether it has inserted the data in it or not. For that we will use the select command, select, and to select all the all the rows we will use the star or asterisk, and then I will specify the name from table name is students, right? So this will select all the rows of our table, and we will display it in the result, and we will learn more about the select command in the last part. So we are just, you can see here it says ID 1, student name is ThinkX Academy, grade is A1, and roll number is 1. So that's how you can select all the rows and display them. Select is used to display your table contents. So after insertion, we are now going to perform a very important operation, which is the update operation. So for that we have the update command. So if we want to update the table students, I will write update students. Set is a predefined keyword. Set student name as, my name is Vishal, so I'm going to write here Vishal. And now I will specify the condition in this using the where clause. This where keyword is used to specify the condition. So let me specify that if the roll number is equals to 1, you will update the table students and you will update the value of column st name as Vishal. So we know that previously it was ThinkX Academy, and now it will update the value at roll number 1, which is specified using this where clause, and it will just update it, right? So let's run this. After running, let's see what happens to our table. So you can see here the student name has been changed. It has been changed from ThinkX Academy to Vishal. So in this manner you can use this MySQL to update our table contents, and the update command you can see here. Although MySQL is not case sensitive when you are using these keywords, you can also use it in lowercase also, but it is advised to use it like this because it will just make clearer to you that you are using predefined keywords, and you will have to be case sensitive in case of these column names, right? So the next command that we're going to learn is how to delete rows in a table. So for that we're going to use the delete command. Delete and from, so delete from students is the name of the table. So where roll number is equals to 1. So we're going to delete the row which has roll number as 1. So you can see that this where clause is used to just provide the condition, and based on that condition it will delete, update the row, right? So let's run this. The query is completed, and now let's see our contents of the table students. So you can see here the row with roll number 1 has been deleted. So this is how you can use the delete operator. So what now I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another command, which is the alter table command. So if you want to make changes to some table name, or if you want to change the column name or the data type of your column, you can do that using the alter command, which alters the table, right? So I will write alter table, specify the name of the table initially, and then in the next line I'm going to write rename, then to is a keyword, and let's specify the name that we are going to write here is student info. So this alter command will basically change the name of the table from students to student info. So let's run this, and you can see here this is our students table. After I will refresh it, it will change to student info. You can see here. So this is the alter command. So if you want to alter the data type of a particular column, you can also do that. So we will use alter table. Now our table name is student info, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the modify keyword, modify roll number. So our roll number was an integer type, and now I'm going to convert it into a variable character of 50. So now the query is completed. So let's describe the table student info. So you can see here the roll number was previously it was of type integer and now it is of type varchar, which is variable characters. So now we can see how you can use alter command to alter the, if you want to make some changes to your existing table, you can use the alter command. So there is one more variation of alter command which is used to add a column in our existing table. So we have the table student info. So if you want to add another column, so let's suppose you have created a table in the first and now you want to add some more columns to it. So you can do that using this alter command, then add, and now specify the name of the column. So let's specify attendance as the name of another column. It is of type integer, and let's specify the default value as 0. So now I have run the query. So describe the name of the table is student info. So now you can see it has added another column, attendance of integer type. It is having null value and default value is 0. So this is how you can use alter, you can add a column, or you can even drop a column. So there is one more variation, the last one. So alter table student info, and let's suppose I have added, or now I want to drop a particular column. You can use the drop keyword and then specify the name of the column. So now I have run this. Describe name of the table is student info. So now you can see it has dropped the column attendance. So in this way you can use alter command for 4 purposes. If you want to add a column, or if you want to rename your table, if you want to drop your column, and so on, right? So now we are going to just use the drop keyword, which it is a drop command and it is used to drop the whole table. So what I will do is I will write drop and the name of the table that you want to drop. So student info is the table that I want to drop, so I will write drop table student info, right? So you will have to specify the table keyword also. So when you will run this command, it will drop this our table, and let's just execute this. So you can see here it has dropped the table student info. So what I will just do is I will just create this table again and I will insert some rows in it, and then we will perform some more variations of the select command, right? So now you can see here I have inserted some values in this table. So let's now work with our select command. So what I will do is we can also specify the where clause in the select command. So if we want to select all the rows which have id less than 5, so we can do that. So you can see here it will display all the rows which has id less than 5. Alright, so let's now move on to the next variation of the select command. So if you want to select distinct items, which is, let's suppose there you can see that if I will select all the columns, sorry, all the rows, so you can see here there are grades which have some duplicates. So A1, and you can see that it has duplicate values. So if you want to select distinct items, you can use the distinct keyword and then specify the name of the column which should have the distinct values. So select distinct from our table student info, sorry, it should be student info, like this. And you can also specify the where command. So now I will specify the where clause, and here I will specify the value of id should not equal to 5. So this is a new operator. You can see that there are two arrows, and it specifies not, right? So if the value of id is not 5, it will just display all the results which have distinct grades, right? So there will be no two grades which are equal. So let's just use this and keyword also. So and keyword is used to specify if you want to check for two conditions, right? So if both the conditions on both side of this and will be true, then only it will select the distinct grades. You can also specify an or here if you want only one condition to be satisfied, but we are going to use and here, right? So let's run this. So you can see here it has selected only grade column because we have specified the grade column, right? So it has just displayed the grade column from student where id is not equal to 5. So there is no column which is id not equal to 5. So id less than 10. So you can see here, and the grades should be distinct. So you can see here all the grades are having different values: A1, A2, B1, C1, E1. So let's do another select command, which is selecting on based off a range, right? So if you can specify a particular range, and then it will select all the records within that range. So let's select the student name, and I'm going to specify here again the name of the column, sorry, the name of the table. So if you want to select based on a range, what you will have to do is specify the where column. So let's suppose we want to display the results which have id between 6 and 10. So you can use the between keyword, 6 and 10. So once you will use this keyword, it will select all the student names which have id between 6 and 10. So you can see here all the IDs between 6 and 10 are displayed here, right? So if you do not want to select or you can say that you do want to select not based on range, you can specify the not between keyword, and it will select all the student names which are not in between this range 6 and 10. So you can see here now it is displaying all the student names which are not in this range, right? So we can also select based on a list given to us. So let's suppose we want to select student name, and I want to specify a list of values here, so I can do that. So let's suppose I want to select the columns, sorry, the rows which have id 1, 3 and 4. So Alright, so it says query interrupted because we have not used the n keyword here. So if you want to specify the range here, sorry, the list here, you can specify it using the n keyword. So if the id is n1, 3 and 4, it will display our result. So now you can see here it has displayed a name, ThinkX Academy, Rahul and Dave, which has id 1, 3 and 4. Right, so if I will write an asterisk here, you will be able to see their IDs here, 1, 3 and 4. So let's move on to the next one, which is the condition based on pattern matches. So we're now going to select the student name from the student info table, where the student name, so now we are going to display the results based on the patterns, right? So let's suppose we want that our student name should have a starting value, the starting character as V, and we do not know the rest of the characters, right? So we will write a percentage sign here. So the like keyword will just match all these student names with the string that is provided inside this one, and you can see that we have specified V percentage, which means that it will display all the student names that has the starting character as V, right? So if I will run this, you can see here it displays only Vishal record, which has V as the starting point, right? So some more variations are like you can also specify not like, so it will select all the columns, all the rows, but Vishal will not get selected. You can see here there is no Vishal here. So there is one more. If we want to specify like this, the number of characters behind this, so you can see I have just returned some underscores here, 5 to 6 underscores, which means that it will match the student name with this string which has last character as L, and the number of underscores represent the number of characters that it will hold, right? So let's run this. So you can see here there is some error in our query. Oh, it's not like, so I will have to write like here. So you can see here there are two records which has L in the ending and which have 3, 4, 5 characters behind this last character. So there are 5 underscores here, right? So let's now create one more command which is used to sort our results. So let's suppose I want to sort the rows of our column, sorry, of a table. So if I want to select all the rows of our table in a sorted manner, I can do that using the order by ID command. So first I will write select st name, which is the student name, and from student info, where the value of ID is not equal to 1, and I'm going to write here order by ID, order by st name. So what this command will do is it will select all the student names from our table student info where the ID is not equal to 1. So remember, before you will have to use where clause first, then order by. You cannot invert them. So order by is used to sort our list. So our rows are getting sorted by the student name. So It is sorted on the base of the alphabets like A, B, C, D. So let's run this. And now you can see that they are now sorted in an order. D comes first, then E, then K, then N, R, S, T, V. So you can see that you can sort the results of, you can sort using the order by command, right? So this is how you can use the select command. We have seen a lot of variations, and all of the queries that we have written here, I'm again telling you that it is available in our Android applications. If you're liking this video, please make sure to like our video and subscribe our channel for more courses. So let's perform some simple calculations in MySQL. Right, so let's suppose I want to display the multiplication of 5 into 3. I can write it like this: select 5 into 3 from dual. So dual is a table in MySQL database which has one row and one column, right? So it is already defined, we don't need to create it. So when I will run this, it will just display the result as 15, which is 5 into 3, right? So there is one more thing that I want to display. So if you want to display the count, if you want to count the number of rows of a table, you can do that using the count function. So if I will run this, it will just display me the number of rows that are in the table student info. So the rows were 10, so you can write count and this. So let's perform some more operations using the select command and the dual table. Right, so let's display the system date. So I'm using the select sysdate from dual command. So I think it should be like this. So yes, you can see here there is a system date function, and you can see that it will display the date and the time of our system, and we know what is the dual table now. So let's perform some more operations, like let's use the lower function, which basically lowers or converts the string given to it in lowercase, and it will display it in our dual table. So you can see here lower function Vishal has been converted into lowercase. Similarly, you can also use the upper function, and let me just provide an string which is in lowercase, and it will convert it into uppercase like this, right? So that's all for now. This is a crash course. The crash course has ended, and now you will be eligible to run all the SQL commands, and these are the main basic commands that you will use in your applications. So thanks for watching.